Now, each week David and I will look at a different work scenario and explore the kinds of English expressions commonly used within that situation. It may be useful to have a pen and some paper ready to write down what you hear. In this first programme in the series, we're starting at the beginning and helping you to get the job you've always wanted, because today we're looking at interview language. Job interviews are difficult anyway, even more so in a second language. But don't worry. Today's programme is a useful guide to some of the most common English expressions that you'll need in an interview. Let's get started. Here's an example of an interview situation.
John, hi. Sit down, make yourself comfortable. John, tell me, you're already an office manager in a medium-sized finance company. Why do you want to come and work here?
Well, I don't know how much you know, but the company have been having some problems. Quite a few staff have been laid off, actually. And
Right.
although my job isn't immediately under threat, you just can't tell. I'm not sure what the future will hold. And in any case, I felt that it was time to start moving up the career ladder, and I feel I want a little bit more responsibility, and that combined with the state of the company convinced me that it's time to move on, really.
Now, the interviewer there asked a classic question that people often ask in interviews. They come straight out and say, "Why do you want this job?" And what was John's response?
Well, John was actually a bit negative at the start. He said that he was a little bit worried about his position in the company at the moment. He said quite a few people have been laid off. That's another way of saying quite a lot of people have been made redundant. They've been asked to leave the company because the company is experiencing some kind of difficulties, and so they're reducing the number of staff. So he says that he doesn't know what the future will hold. He doesn't know what's going to happen in the future.
So he begins the interview a little bit negatively, but then he changes and starts to emphasise the positive.
Yes, he says that he wants to move up the career ladder. We often talk about careers as being a kind of ladder because it's something you try to climb up. So he begins to be a bit more positive, and he then goes on to say it's time to move on. It's time for him to make a change and take the next step on the ladder of his career.